Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury beauty. And a couple of months ago, I picked up quite a few items from a brand called Phytosurgence. This is a brand, it's a Canadian-based brand, and they're centered in Vancouver. And they're a small team, they're independent, they don't have any like funding or anything by like a bigger brand or investors. It's just a small team, and their goal is to make conscious, transparent makeup. And when I say transparent, I mean transparency about like the packaging and the ingredients and so forth. So they're not calling themselves a clean beauty brand, but they're transparent about what's in them, why they use it, and so forth. Now, they're essentially like an indie makeup brand. And I had heard about this brand from a few people who watch my channel who live in Canada. So I picked up some items a couple of months ago. They have recently released some items, some newer items like some brushes and so forth since that time. So unfortunately, I don't have the brushes at this time. But I did want to go through with you the items that I've been using. So I have been testing these on and off for the last couple of months. And, I've had so many makeup releases. So these aren't first impressions. There are a couple shades that I hadn't tried before, but all of the formulas I have worn, at least 7 or 8 times. So it's not a first impressions. So I want to go through the items I picked up and my thoughts on the formulas. First of all, let me say that this brand, I really do like their mission. I really appreciate the way that they go about things. One of the things that they mention, if you go to their website, they talk about how, makeup should be used. It should be used up, and they don't want people to go out and just, buy the next new item and forget about what they already have. They want you to use what you have and then go and purchase more. So for that reason, they're not really big into like the limited edition makeup item that's only gonna be around for a short period of time. Their goal is to create like a collection of things that'll always be there. So when you're ready to go back and purchase, it's there. It's not gonna be hard to find. So they have some cream shadows, and these are called Flash Fluorescence. And I do swatch all of these in the demo, so we'll go through those then. But you can see we've got different finishes. We have more of this satin finish, and then we have these more sparkly finishes. So these two here specifically are toppers. We've got these satin finishes, and then we have a couple that are more pigmented with sparkle as well. Now you can see these topper shades, they have a bit more of a larger sparkle to them. To me, from photos, they remind me of the Danessa Myricks Chrome Flakies, which I have not tried. I have not seen those in person, so I don't know exactly how much they compare. But in photos, they seem similar to me, maybe slightly smaller in scale than the Danessa Myricks, but comparable. So we've got like a few different finishes here with these. So just to show you, this one here is deep rooted. And you can see when it's built up, you have cooler tones. It blends out to like a warmer brown tone. We have Velvet Leaf, which is this gorgeous olive light forest green with a more of a brownish base, a cooler tone brown base. Then this one here is called Defiant Dahlia. And you can see you've got burgundy with a touch of brown, like it's a brownish burgundy shade with a little bit of sparkle in here. Wild Wisteria is kind of this bright lilac shade with some shimmer. And you can see the shimmer in these is both going to be fairly fine. And then this one and this one, these are toppers. Those have the larger shimmer pieces. It's really more so that the shimmer like gathers together to appear larger. I think it's probably similar sizes overall. It's just that you've got more of it, so it kind of conglomerates a little bit. So this one here is called Fractal Freesia. And then the one at the bottom is called Orchid Overload. And you can see this is kind of a peachy pink. This is more of a golden champagne. And this one here in the middle, you can see is a satin finish. It is a medium warm brown with bronze overtone. So you can see how when I get the angle just right, you see more of this reddish brown up here, and then you see more bronze here. So that's one of the great things about these shadows. The green one here, Velvet Leaf, does that as well. If you kind of pile it on, you see green, and then you see shifts of this like reddish brown shade as well. So it's they're really pretty. So I think these are a really nice cream shadow. They're gonna last on the eyes. For me, they last, you know, approximately the same as a regular cream shadow. They're not incredibly long lasting, but they're not short lasting either. You know, I would say that they are average in longevity on the eyes. So I can get 6 to 8 hours without any creasing for, you know, at least for the shades that I picked up. As we know, different finishes, different shades and so forth can have different longevities. But these ones here that I have used, I've always used one of these like satin ones for the most part on like as a base, and no issues with or without a primer. So I have been enjoying those. The cream blush, now I picked up the cream blush in Fume, and look at this. It's like got that whipped texture. We're gonna put this, we'll put it right here. And I love the texture of these. So it goes on, it doesn't completely dry down. It's gonna stay a little bit dewy on the skin. You can see that although it looks kind of more of a mauve shade, when you blend it out, you have more of this like warm orangey tone to it. So just something to note there that again, we've got cooler overtones and warmer undertones. And the formula on this is really nice. So the color, the pigmentation, it lasts all day. It's going to have kind of that dewy look to the skin. You can see, I mean, like, it's not like it's overly wet or sticky or anything like that, but the appearance has this like sheen to it that's going to make it look dewy, and it doesn't truly set down. So you'll have a little bit of that like dewiness there. And if you go to rub your cheek later in the day, you will move some products. So just something to note there, but the pigmentation really will last all day until you go to take your makeup off. Now, the last item I picked up is the Spectral Shine, which is the highlighter. And this is a different product. So I talk about this in my demo. I'm gonna try to swatch this with my finger for you now, but it's a very dry formula. You have to press really hard to get the product. This is intended to be used with a really dense brush. And I actually have it smoothed out here. Do you see that shimmer? Okay, so I'm gonna put the highlighter swatch kind of right there. You can see that the shade I picked up is a light, kind of like a shiny, whitish silver shade, more white than silver, just a touch of silver in there. So I really like the shade. It's meant to be buffed out. So these are not gonna be like disco ball-y or anything. It's meant to give more of this soft, luminous glow to the skin. And I think if you get the application right, you use the right type of brush and so forth, you're gonna get that. It's gonna look really beautiful. Now, for me personally, it's just not my favorite formula because I feel like I have to work a little bit too hard to get that. So I do think it's beautiful, but you know, for me personally, when I go to order more items from this brand, I will get more of the cream shadows and I will get more of the blush. Now I do have to say that these topper shades, if I'm not careful and I get some of that like too close to my eye, it can be a little irritating, the sparkle. You know, I'm sure that's true for pretty much every sparkle. So, but it's just something to know. Now, there's not really a lot of fallout or anything with these. I think that the best application for these is with like a dense brush so you can kind of pat it on, or using your finger. You know, my fingers, they're not small. So I make kind of a mess. So when I most of the time, today I use a brush, but most of the time I will use my finger to put it on, and then I'll take a clean brush and just kind of smudge that through the crease and so forth. But today I wanted to be a little bit more precise and use more colors. So I did use a brush, and you can see the application effect for that. So overall though, I think these are really nice products. I'm gonna go ahead and show you the demo, and then we'll just finish up. So today we are going to play with Phytosurgence, and we are going to start off with one of the blushes. You can see it kind of has a bit of a moussey texture. And look at this, when I touch it, it reminds me of the Shiseido Air Whip blushes. So I'm going to put some here on my hand. We'll use a brush for that, but I'm also going to just use my finger on one side here. And this here is the shade Fume, or Fume. I'm not sure which way they want it to be said. I don't see an accent, so I guess it's just Fume. But this is the Skin Spark, which is their cream blush. So on my skin, I have the Lisa Eldridge foundation in shade 2. And I have not set it with any powder or anything. This is this is it. So here is Fume, and we'll add a little bit more so it's a little bit more pigmented. This blends out really nicely. The texture is, I mean, if you're familiar with the Shiseido Air Whipped blushes, it's similar to that, but not quite as airy. It's a little bit more moussey than that. I really like it. You can see that this tone though, it does have some warm undertones, so it looks kind of mauvey, but when you blend it out, you can see a little bit more orange. So it is gonna have warm undertones. So I'm gonna take one of the Katie Jane Hughes brushes. This is the 02. We're going to get some of this product from my hand on here, and let's apply with the brush. And Phytosurgence, they do have their own brushes now. Of course, I've actually had these products for, I don't know, maybe 2 months now. And I have been using them on and off throughout the last 2 months. So this is not like a first impressions. But the brushes came out, of course, after I ordered. So yeah. So here's the brush application versus the finger. And you can see that you can get kind of the same level of pigmentation with the brush right away on 1 layer versus 2 layers. Let me show you this from a distance. Okay, so brush, fingers. I personally just prefer the brush application. I just think it blends out a little bit better on the edges, but yeah, that's my opinion. So I'm just gonna take my brush and just kind of feather that out a little bit. And you can see I have tons of product left on my hand. This product really goes far. Next, let's go in with the highlighter. Now the highlighter is not really what I expected. This is the Spectral Shine, and this is the shade Fresh Fog. It's kind of hard to read. It's very light label here, but you can see that it's a little dry. It's actually intended to be this way. I wasn't sure, so I did contact them over it. But no, it's meant to be this way, and you're meant to use like a firm, dense brush with it and really, you know, pack on the product. And then when you put it on your skin, you get just this like soft, luminous glow. So let's go ahead and try that out. So I'm taking the Chikuhodo T3, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna swirl this in here. And let me show you this on my hand. So it's right there. You can see it's not really noticeable. Let's pack on more product. And you can see I'm pressing kind of firmly. There is product on here. I can see it on the brush. And let's just kind of buff this into the skin. And there you go. You can see there's a little bit of a luminosity in this area. Do you see that? But it's going to be very subtle. So I'm just going to pack it on the brush again, and then we'll put it on the skin. All right, so we got it on here, and let's put it on here. There. So you can see the difference. It cooled it off. There's the sheen. So you've got a little bit of a different look. And yes, some of the blush did come off on my brush. So you can see where the product is, but it's not going to be the most noticeable highlighter. And again, they do have a brush specifically designed for use with this product. I don't have it, but this would be something that could work with it. You know, something that's like dense and more of a buffing style brush. So let me show you this from a distance. All right, so here's the highlight. And here it is in my hand. Kind of see it here. There, see that reflection. All right, so next we're gonna go in with some of the cream eyeshadows. I have not tried all of them. This is actually one of the shades I have not tried. This is called Deeply Rooted. And let me just show you what this looks like. So this is Deeply Rooted. Well, we'll put it here. So you can see it does move into like a silky, creamy texture. And this is going to be a brown shade. So we're going to kind of smudge this. I'm using the Refer 12 brush, and we're going to start at the outer corner. Oh, I feel a little bit of flaking. That's from my application. Usually I use my fingers with these. I'm making a mess. I had some product on my finger and I didn't realize it. But anyway, as I was saying, usually I use my fingers with these. And now I've got to get that blush off my face there. Okay, and I'm just going to put this in the crease here as well. And I don't have any eyeshadow primer on. So I'm going to take the Ref 15 brush with no product on it. And I made like it a little messy in the crease. It's kind of on purpose because I want to kind of buff that out a little bit here and just, you know, diffuse that. So you can see that when you blend out Deeply Rooted, again, you've got kind of that like warm base. When you palette on, you have cooler tones. Now, one of my favorite shades is this one here, which is Velvet Leaf. And this shade is just so, so pretty. So let me just show you this. Oh, let me get a little more product on there. So it's just a nice green, olive green, a little bit of like a soft forest green. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of this on the eyes as well. I'm taking the Ref 12 again, and I'm going to put this up to the halfway point here. Now you can see that kind of dabbing this on, you get more of that green pigmented shade. So I'm going to go just past the halfway point. You can see a little bit of the brown peeking through where I went over it. All right, and then adjacent to that, we're going to go into the shade Defiant Dahlia. So let me swatch that one while we're at it. So here's Defiant Dahlia. Look at that. You can see it's sparkly. It's a little bit more reddish. I'm going to go in with the same brush here. And as you're getting this, you can see it can get a little crumbly if you're like a little bit too rough. You know, it's not a problem. I mean, that's just the formula. So just going to put a little bit of this here. And then we're going to be using one of the sparkle toppers here as well. So I'm not worried about the transition. So you can see that there is a little bit of kind of like a gold shimmer in that shade. Now, probably the shade I reach for the most is this one, Wild Wisteria. I'm going to swatch this right now, but, you know, we're actually not going to be using this one right now. Look at that, though. It's so pretty. Maybe we'll use this on the inner corner. Let's hold on to that. But I wanted to go into another one. I have not used this one yet. This is Fractal Freesia, and you can see it's very, very sparkly. And this is a topper. Look at that. So I'm going to use my finger for this, and I am going to pat this all over the lid. So at the transition, I'm using little motions to kind of blend that together a little bit, and then we're going to go over the whole thing. What do you think? All right, so going back in with the rougher, and I did wipe this off before. This is the 15 I was using earlier, and I'm just gonna kind of buff this. I did get some glitter on the top, so I want to kind of diffuse that out a bit. I think when you make a mess with glitter, it's easier to diffuse it than try to remove it. I can never remove it completely. All right, and before we do the lower lash line, let me just show you the other shades. I have not tried this one either. This is the other one I haven't tried yet. This one's called Wild Oak, and you can see it's more of like a brownish bronze. I think it's a really pretty shade. You've got that satin finish there, so I can't wait to try this one out sometime. Maybe we'll use this for liner or something today. And then the other one is called Orchid Overload, and this one's a really pretty topper shade. So here's Orchid Overload. Now, to me, when I was expecting to be more purple, but you can see it's definitely more of a warm rose with some peach in it. and you've got lots of sparkle. So if we look at all of these, this one's deeply rooted. You've got like a cooler tone brown with warm undertones. So you got the cool overtones with the warm undertones. Then we have Velvet Leaf, which is kind of like a cross between an olive and forest green. And you can see that the base on this is actually more of a brown base. It's not really a gray base like a lot of greens. So that's one of the things that makes it different. And then we have this one, which is called Defiant Dahlia. And you can see you've got like this warm brown mixed with a touch of burgundy and some shimmer. Then we have a Wild Wisteria, which is kind of like this bright purple lilac shade. Like it's a bright lilac and you've got a lot of sparkle here. And then we have Fractal Freesia, which is a topper, and it's more of a golden champagne with a ton of sparkle. We have Wild Oak, which is kind of a warm tone bronzy brown shade. You can see there's some bronze when you pile it up, but it does have those like warm medium tone brown shades when you kind of blend it out. And then the last one here is Orchid Overload, which is a warm peachy pink shade with a lot of sparkle. And again, these are going to be your toppers. So let's go ahead, let's take the smudge or two from Sonia G. I'm just gonna get some of Wild Oak on here. And we're just gonna put this on the upper lash line. And I think we're gonna go with the Orchid on the lower lash line. So I wanna keep this more of a bronzy appearance. So I'm gonna keep dipping to get more product. And I'm kind of wiping it on my hand here as well, so I don't have like too much product at once. No like clumping or anything. All right, there we go. I think that would also be really nice with like deeply rooted there. I know I kind of covered that up, but just wanted to show off all of the shades and how they blend out. All right, and for the lower lash line, I am going to take the Wild Wisteria. Just gonna put that down there, add a little touch to the inner corner, not too much. All right, I'm just gonna take a touch more of the Wild Oak and put that on this outer portion of the lower lash line. All right, so this is it for the eyes up close, cheeks and everything. And you can see that these sparkle toppers, they really kind of give off the look that you see in the new Danessa Myricks Chrome Flakies, which I haven't tried, so I have no idea how similar they are. But it does, you know, it has like those bigger chunks that you can see. So it's kind of a different look. And yeah, let me add some mascara and lipstick and I will show you from a distance. Right, so this is the final look from a distance. You can see the eyes, you can see how sparkly they are. The lips are the Lisa Eldridge Petal Lip Liner and Lip Gloss. And that's it. All right, so this is an update. It's been several hours, almost 5 hours at this point. So you can see how everything has worn. And you can see the eyeshadows still going strong. No creasing, no like transfer or anything. I have had a little bit of like glitter fallout here, but not too bad. You can see the gorgeous sheen still from the highlighter. The blush is still there. Everything is still stunning. So just wanted to show you how it performs. All right, so I just wanted to share my final thoughts. And I would have to say that overall, I think this is a great brand. You know, I really appreciate their message. I like, you know, the brand philosophy, and the products I've tried are really great. I love the way this highlighter looks on the skin. It is gorgeous, but I do think it's a lot of work. So, you know, it's a little bit of effort to get the look on the skin. So for me, I don't plan on purchasing any more of the highlighters. I really love the way it looks, but you know, it's just a little bit too much work for me. As for the cream blushes, I really love how they meld with the skin. They look gorgeous. I love this like airy, moussey texture to them. And I think they're just really beautiful. So I would like to pick up more of these blushes. And the eyeshadows, you know, I think these eyeshadows are fantastic. So these like toppery shades, you know, they kind of remind me of the Jones Road Just a Sec eyeshadows. Let me show you one of those. All right, so here is one of the Jones Road shadows. These are a little bit like of a wetter cream formula comparatively, just a little bit. This is the shade Golden Peach. I'm gonna put it right here next to this one here, which is Fractal Freesia. And you can see that they're pretty similar in color. The Jones Road is going to be a little bit more golden, a little less peachy. And the Fractal Freesia has more shimmer in it. And particles are going to be a little bit larger, but they do have kind of that same like level of sheerness and so forth. And one of the things I like to do with both of those types of products is put on like a smudgy eyeliner. Like for example, one of the Victoria Beckham liners, kind of like just smudge that out so it's a little messy. And then take that and put it over the lid, and that'll be the color. And then where it's smudged out, it gets this like really pretty quality to it. So we can try that another time if you guys are interested in seeing that. But that's one of those like quick and easy looks that I like to do sometimes. So I think that works well with both of those products. So I really like the way that they look on the eyes and how they perform. One of the things I really like about these shades is they're not like a duochrome per se, but they're almost like that. You know, you have a little bit of another reflect. It's just not one of those in your face duochromes, if that makes sense. So you still see like tones of another shade like you would with a duochrome, but it's more subtle. And I also like how, you know, the undertones and overtones are different on these things. So, you know, whether you pile it on versus kind of blend it out more, you're going to get different shades, and it makes it very versatile. So overall, I would have to say this brand is a win for me. I really like it. You know, I love the looks that I've been able to create with this brand. Performance is great. I think overall it's a really great brand. So let me know if you've tried this brand or if you're interested in trying it. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'll see you very soon. So have a great day and stay safe and healthy.